Deontay Wilder keeps calling Tyson Fury pillow-fisted and says he can't punch at all. Well, I'm not sure whether Deontay Wilder actually believes that or if he's just trying to goad Tyson Fury in, get Tyson Fury to fight him aggressively because that plays into Deontay Wilder's hands. I suspect it's a little bit of both. I think that Wilder genuinely believes Fury can't hurt him, but he also wants Fury to come and try and prove that he can hurt him, because that makes Wilder's job a lot easier. Now, some people are saying that Wilder was hurt several times in the first fight. I think even Fury said he hurt Wilder a few times in the first fight. Well, I wasn't the one taking the punches. I wasn't in Wilder's shoes. But from what I saw, I don't think Wilder was ever hurt in the fight. Deontay Wilder is a gangly, skinny individual. And sometimes his legs can look a little, dodgy. He can look a little wobbly on his legs, even when he hasn't been hit. That's just the way he is, because he's a very, gangly, ungainly individual. And sometimes guys like that can look a little wobbly when they're not actually hurt. So I think that's what the situation was with Deontay Wilder. I don't think Tyson Fury hurt him in the slightest throughout the fight, to be honest with you. And I'm going to keep on maintaining my assertion that Tyson Fury needs to box the same way he did in the first fight. Just be sharper and, a little bit more on the ball defensively. And he may be able to get that points decision win, which he didn't get in the first fight. But if he goes along with what he claims he's going to do and what his dad thinks he's going to do, which is come in heavy and go for a knockout, look, I don't completely discount the possibility that Tyson Fury could be successful doing that. I think if Tyson Fury was to line up his best shot and Deontay Wilder was stood still with his chin in the air, Fury could probably hurt him or drop him. But the opportunity to land that kind of punch is probably not going to come up in the fight. I don't think Tyson Fury has the reflexes with his power punches. You see, because being a prolific knockout puncher, you have to have the reflexes to be able to set yourself and throw with maximum power like that at a drop of a dime in a split second. Tyson Fury, I think he can punch hard, but he needs somebody to be absolutely stationary, and then he's going to load up on this big right hook, and it's all very cumbersome. I don't see that kind of shot landing against Deontay Wilder. The faster right hands that Fury throws don't really have much on them. They tend to be arm punches. Yeah? And those are the shots he can land on Wilder, but I don't see those shots hurting Wilder. So he says he's gone over to Sugar Hill to learn this Kronk technique of how to get those fast, powerful right hands off, the way Tommy Hearns used to, the way Lennox Lewis used to, the way Gerald McClellan used to, etc., etc. I don't know. Can Tyson Fury learn to do that in one training camp? I have serious doubts. So I'm intrigued by this fight because I want to see the tactics that Tyson Fury comes out with. I think we pretty much all know what Deontay Wilder is going to do. He's going to be a little bit patient. I think he's going to try to use his jab a little bit more, but essentially he's just waiting for that big right hand. That's it. With Tyson Fury, he might decide to box, same way he did in the first fight, or he might switch it up and actually try and bully Deontay Wilder. You see, I haven't really paid too much attention to what Fury and his dad John are saying because it could be misdirection. I mean, I'm entertaining the possibility that they're telling the truth, of course, particularly because of the fact that Tyson Fury looks to have bulked up a bit and he's joined, Javon Sugar Hill. But I pay more attention when Peter Fury, I know Peter Fury is, I guess, not on good terms with his nephew Tyson and his brother John anymore, but Peter Fury came out in a recent interview and said that he thinks Tyson should do exactly what Tyson and his dad are saying they're going to do, which is walk Wilder down, lean weight on him, and try and take him into the trenches. So when Peter Fury is saying that, he is a sensible head, Peter. I rate his boxing IQ very, very highly. And I take more notice of things that Peter says rather than Tyson or his dad. Okay? Not that Tyson and his dad don't know boxing, because they do, but they play a lot of games, Whereas Peter is more of a straight shooter. So I listen to what Peter says a lot more. even though he's no longer involved in their setup. And he thinks that Tyson should use his weight, get forward and drag Deontay Wilder into a physical kind of fight. I personally think it's a bad idea because all you have to be with Deontay Wilder is stationary for too long for a split second and he's got you with that right hand. You don't want to do that. I mean, John Fury was doubting Deontay Wilder's punching power again when he did that round table with David Haye and the other guys. Because going into the first fight, John Fury was doubting Wilder's power. After the first fight, John Fury said, I don't doubt his power anymore, his power's for real. But now that they're having the rematch, John Fury again is back to doubting Wilder's power, saying, well, if his power was that great, then my son wouldn't have got off the canvas in the 12th round because he was weak going into that fight. So Wilder don't really hit that hard. Well, it was the 12th round. And I don't think Wilder caught Tyson Fury with his hardest shot. Truth be told, I think, look, anybody who's boxed will know that every right hand you throw doesn't have an equal amount of power on it. Particularly if you're in the 10th, 11th round of sparring or if you're a pro in actual fight, your right hands are generally not going to be as hard in the 12th as they are in the first. Okay? And as I say, I don't think Wilder caught Fury with the best right hand he could have caught him with in that 12th round. If they're banking on Wilder not being able to seriously hurt Fury because Fury's stronger now and all this kind of stuff, I think that's a very, very dangerous thing to be thinking. I think Deontay Wilder can flatten pretty much any heavyweight out there if he catches him right. The only guy who Deontay Wilder was in with who didn't get seriously hurt from what I saw was Johann Duopa, because he stopped Duopa at the end of the fight. He kind of overwhelmed him and then Duopa was up against the ropes and the ref stopped it. But Duopa was able to take Deontay Wilder's power throughout the course of that fight because Duopa kept his chin glued to his chest and he kept his hands glued to his head. That's literally how Duopa fought the whole fight. So Wilder kept hitting Duopa on the forehead and on the nose bridge. That's where he was catching him over and over again. So by the end of the fight, Duopa's nose and his forehead were all swollen and cut. So if you can somehow manage to do that, fight with your hands up in a really tight guard, maybe you can manage to not get chinned by Deontay Wilder if you're trying to walk him down, but you're still going to take a beating. It's still not a good way to go about it. Wilder does have an issue with his right hand. He's broken it several times in his career, but he's a guy who seems to be able to fight through the pain a lot of the time. I mean, the only time when his right hand seemed to be completely out of commission was in the Chris Arreola fight, where it was noticeable that he wasn't using one of his hands. But in all the other fights where he's injured his hand, he just seems to fight through the pain. Like against Berman Stavern, he was fighting through the pain. He says that his hand was also injured in the first Fury fight, fought through the pain. So, yeah, very, very risky strategy if you're going to go forward on Deontay Wilder. I think there are fighters who could have success attacking Deontay Wilder and putting him under pressure. But I think those are fighters who are very skilled pressure fighters who have very good head movement. Like a prime Mike Tyson, for example. Good head movement coming forward, can get underneath Deontay Wilder's right hand, put pressure on him while avoiding, the right hand coming in. Somebody like that, I mean, even if Derek Chisora was in there against Deontay Wilder, I'm not saying Derek Chisora would beat Wilder, but from a stylistic point of view, he has certain things there that could give Wilder issues. Because again, Chisora's moving his head and he's coming underneath Wilder's right hand. Wilder doesn't have a great uppercut. I know he hit Ortiz with an uppercut in their first fight, but, Ortiz was pretty much spent by that time. Wilder doesn't have a great uppercut or a very prolific uppercut. So Chisora's bobbing and weaving and he's coming underneath Wilder's punches. Then he's coming up with hooks. Yeah. It will be difficult for Chisora to pin somebody like Wilder down. Let's not beat around the bush here. Because although Chisora's got good head movement and he applies pressure well, he's not the fastest guy in the world, and Deontay Wilder is fast. Yeah. But again, I'm talking about stylistically. That's the kind of style that I think could be successful against Wilder if you had a talented enough heavyweight to be able to employ that style. Yeah, the bobbing and weaving, coming forward, getting underneath the shots, and then ripping Wilder's body and coming upstairs to the head. Joe Frazier style, basically, or Mike Tyson style. And those are little guys as well, much shorter guys. That's why it's more difficult to catch them when they're bobbing and weaving coming in. But if you've got a big guy like Tyson Fury, who's 6'7 plus, 250, 60 pounds plus, I mean, he's not going to be able to bob and weave underneath Deontay Wilder's punches. Like, the best way for him to stay away from Wilder's punches is to stay away, to stay on the outside, move around, be slick, draw Wilder's lead and then make him miss and make him pay, just like he did in the first fight. Going forward, I mean, I've never seen Tyson Fury look particularly clever going forward. He looks cumbersome going forward. He did against Steve Cunningham. He did against Otto Wallin. He did it in many of his fights back in the days where he was going forward and trying to make it a dogfight. He looks very cumbersome and just a sitting duck for somebody like Deontay Wilder. So anyway, that's my take on it, people. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Wilder saying that Tyson Fury's pillow-fisted. Does he really believe it? Or is it just a way of goading Tyson Fury in and getting him to fight more aggressively so Wilder can crack him? Again, the one area where I'll disagree with Deontay Wilder is that saying Fury can't hurt him, or, Fury doesn't have any power at all. I think Fury can hurt him, but I just don't think Fury has the delivery system necessary to be able to load up on that big right hook and catch Wilder. I mean, Fury doesn't really throw that big right hook that often in most of his fights. Against journeymen, he'll throw it because they're slow enough and, easy to hit. So he'll load up on his big right hook and hit him with it. But against Wilder, I don't see that shot landing, man. I don't think he's really going to, certainly in his previous fight against Wilder, he didn't really try to throw it that much because he knew he'd be vulnerable if he did. And his straight right hand don't really have much mustard on it. But in theory, let me just say that I think Fury does have the power to hurt Wilder, but it's not practical power. That particular shot, the right hook, it's not practical. Anyway, perhaps I'll be proved wrong. And when the two guys square off, is it next weekend? It is, isn't it? Not this weekend coming, the weekend after. So maybe I'll be proved wrong. We'll see. Let me know, people, what you think in the comments. It's happening about.
Hatman merch is now available. We got t-shirts, vests, hoodies, and more. Just click the link below. Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.